for him in terms of quality and height and just some nitpicky things as we start to sort these top 4 or 5. And there's always this 1 or 2 surprises that never fail to get your hands on them when you get into a class. And I think that whether the wins is probably the biggest surprise, is that from outside he doesn't have a tremendous amount of dimension. When you get into his chin, we like to open him up there and definitely give him more lower leg. But you get your hands on him, he overwhelms everybody by a significant amount when you get in on his top. He's massive in his rack, he's super good at his loin edge. He's probably a ½ inch wider in his loin than anything else in here and about a 1/4 inch or ½ inch deeper. So really kind of a freak in terms of the way he's built from a muscularity perspective. But I think you take that added muscle shape when you get your hands on him, plus his front end, the way he's made up there, he actually balances out better than the 2 that are behind him. I think that whether they kind of still need to sort up because of those things, just because of that overwhelming factor, if nothing else. And I try not to single trait, but he's so much better in that one area than everybody else. It kind of brings him up. The next 2 weathers are awfully similar in terms of kind. They're really just kind of practical weathers. Both are decent in terms of width the base. They got some body to them. They got some dimension of muscle. But when you start looking, they're just a little plainer in their makeup. They're both a little steep out of their hips. They're both a little off the way they handle their hock. And if you study them in terms of muscle shape, particularly compared to whether they're up in their spine and washed out in their loin, they're better than the rest of them that are behind them in those features. But in comparison to the weather, they give up a tremendous amount. And like I said, it's kind of odd because they have this added with the chest and body that usually allows them to have that added muscle, and they just don't have it in this case compared to him. There's still a nice pair of weathers there in 2nd or 3rd. Another one that's kind of interesting in terms of handles here in 4th. Really one that really surprised me in terms of muscle shape. He's really got a nice square rack shape. He's good in his loin edge. He's actually probably the 2nd best handling in terms of top for sure. But if you study him, he is the narrowest base one we talked about so far, and it starts up at his chest floor. We can just open him up. He maybe could be a pretty strong candidate for 2nd for sure. The weather here in 5th might be as actually good from the side as any of them that we've described in terms of just putting all the pieces together in terms of balance. But he's also the most efficient in terms of muscle development that we've talked about. He's up in his spine, he's really washed out in his loin at this point. Just makes me question how far he's going to develop down the road, particularly when he's sitting back in his twisted lower leg. He doesn't have any additional shape.